And if you can go to the next slide. So this is just a little bit about myself. My name is Brandon. I live in Demarest, New Jersey, and I'm 14, just graduated 8th grade. My hobbies are basketball, track, and video games. And my favorite shoes are the Kyrie 5s, which you'll see I take a lot of inspiration from. And another one of my passions is like the environment and making sure that a lot of all wildlife like doesn't die out. And as you can see in the next slide, the actual shoes, I took a lot of inspiration from snakes. So if you can go to the next slide quickly. Thank you. So these are my shoes. They're called the Kyrie Venoms. And I made 2 colorways for them. As you can see, they look a lot like snakes. And I tried to design, like for the Kyrie 5s, usually where like the SpongeBob like colorway would be, I replaced that with snake-like patterns. So the story behind these shoes is, if you go to the next slide, you see that a lot. You see in the paragraphs, snakes are becoming very endangered, and no one's really paying attention because snakes are usually very dangerous to people. But that's not true, because snakes are very important in keeping the environment safe, because they eat a lot of pests of sorts. So I wanted to raise awareness for them. And although not outlined in this article, if you go to the next slide, another reason for snakes being killed is that their scales are the only way to be are used in lots of clothing. And a big problem right now is that there's no material that feels and looks similar to snakeskin without actually killing snakes. So by making these shoes, I wanted to create a fabric that felt very similar. And if we can get this very popular and people will start using this, then snakes wouldn't need to die to make these kind of clothing. So if you go to the next slide, I'm going to be working with 3M technology to create a fabric that is very similar to snakeskin. And they have a long history of supporting small companies that like to make changes in the environment. So they would work with me, and specifically the people in the clothing industry in their business would work with me to help create a fabric that's very similar to snakeskin. And they just have to follow the similar properties, such as a silky smooth feeling, similar to your fingernails, and a slightly reflective surface. And then you can go to the next slide. So just a little bit about the technology about it. So as you can see, that area with the snakeskin, it's going to be the technology developed by 3M. And then as you can see, it takes a lot of inspiration from the Kyrie 5s with the design, but also the Nike Air Zoom Turbo cushioning, which allows you to be very explosive, but also have a lot of good grip. And the carbon fiber plate at the bottom will be similar to the Jordan 11s, which Tinker Hatfield created, and it was very strong. And as you can see, it was extremely durable and strong, also being very light. So the colors behind them, so these are just 2 examples of the colorways. As you can see, I made the color swatch. But my plan is that depending on what country you live in and what snakes are native to that area, you can make all types of designs. So if you would go to the next slide quickly. I did this in a few of my drafts. As you can see, there are 2 different colorways. The top one is the boa constrictor, which is a popular snake that lives in Brazil. And the bottom one is a different snake, but they all have different designs. So depending on where you want to buy it and where you live, you can get all types of designs. So my marketing plan is that the people behind the product who are going to be promoting it are going to be the children of Steve Irwin, which is Bendy and Robert Irwin. Following their father's footsteps, both children, they take a lot of time in trying to help the environment. And with them behind promoting the product, they'll definitely be able to help people who also want to save the environment look out and try to buy it. So the people that this will be sold to will be all types of people, but specifically the basketball community, because I'd like to hope that thanks to the unique design that they would enjoy it, and also because it's very comfortable and good for basketball. So that's it. Thank you for listening.
Let's hit those reaction buttons, and give Brandon a round of applause. I'm kind of speechless, to be honest with you. To see this project come into full swing, and those extra sessions with Abraham, really, really absolutely awesome. Greg jumped in here.
Bro, insane what you just did. The detail with the material, how deep you went into it, how you tied into other sneakers. You researched your own company that could produce it for you. You went above and beyond. So, I mean, hats off to you, my brother. You crushed that. Thank you again.
Yeah, we got another number pulled up, another 10. Greg also said very strong visuals. A story, when it's intuitive and visually strong, is always better for consumers. In an environment that has a ton of releases every week, this helps get their attention online and in stores. That's what you call a 10-footer. Great to stand out. Really, really amazing work. Steve Irwin, Saving the Snakes.
Also with the regional releases. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
My bad. The regional releases was dope. The concept of the regional releases and tying them into each country, and oh my goodness, bro, you crushed that. So huge props. Great
job. Great job. Once again, all the guests, remember, take your notes, because at the end, we definitely want you to give some vocal feedback.
So my name